Buying a home is made up of 6 steps, and here they are. The first step is that you first have to think of buying a home. Now, once you've thought of buying a home, then you're in a position to move on to step number two, which is making the decision. And I do want to reiterate that there's a big difference between just thinking of buying a home and making the decision of buying a home. Now, I always like to take the time to make sure that we clearly understand if you're just thinking about it or if you've made the decision, because this will allow us to understand what your ideal time frame is, and that way we could come up with a game plan that is specific to you and your goals. Now, once you've decided to buy a home, the next step is for you to obtain your pre-approval. Typically, the top three components that a lender will review is your credit score, your income, and corresponding documents. Assuming all three items are good to go, you will receive a loan pre-approval, and they will disclose the initial terms that the bank will most likely be offering you. It's important that these terms are acceptable to you so we can move on to the next step, which is arguably the most exciting, and it's showings. Now, this is a combined effort from both sides to make sure that we find your ideal home. And once we've achieved that, once we've found your ideal home, then we're in a position to move on to the next step, which is being under contract. Now, being under contract is a 30 to 45-day window in which we're allowed to do our due diligence to make sure that everything makes sense prior to finalizing the sale. Now, it's important to note that during this period, the home is set off market and it's reserved for you. So, once again, we can do our due diligence prior to closing. Now, this all starts with an initial offer. And in the state of Colorado, we use the contract to buy and sell to identify what are going to be the terms, dates, and deadlines of the sale. And again, once all of this is signed and agreed upon, we're able to move on. Now, the top items that occur during the under contract process is first, the offer has to be accepted. Once it's accepted, the next step is for you to do your earnest money deposit. Once the earnest money is deposited, we'll typically receive the seller's property disclosures so you can review them, make sure everything's acceptable to you, and allow us to do the inspections ideally within the first to second week. And assuming everything's good to go with inspections, both with the current condition of the home or through any negotiation that is done during that period, we move on to the appraisal. Now, in the appraisal, a lot of people are slightly against it or slightly confused as to the benefits that it brings them as a consumer. In my humble opinion, the biggest benefits that an appraisal will bring you is that it's an independent opinion. If you ask the buy side, we typically think that we're overpaying for the property. If you ask the seller, they typically think that they're leaving money on the table, that the home is worth a lot more than what it's being sold for. So the appraiser allows us to have an independent opinion. It's also a financing contingency, meaning that the bank will most likely require that an appraisal is done unless an appraisal waiver is granted. And lastly, equity assurance. We want to make sure that you have that peace of mind that the home is worth what you're paying for it. Now, after the appraisal, the next step is for us to select a home insurance in order for us to get our loan final approval. And once we have loan final approval, we're ready to do a final walkthrough, ideally an hour before closing, to make sure that the home is in the original conditions. From there, we're able to attend closing, in which everything will be signed in front of a notary for you to receive the keys to your new home. And with your permission, we'll take an amazing picture as soon as we're done signing. Now, this leads to the final step, which is closing. As mentioned, it's going to be done typically at title in front of a notary. But what's most exciting is everything that happens after closing. It's important that we still maintain a very strong relationship because there's going to be a lot of questions throughout the process. One of the things that stands out is that it's public information, it's in the public records that you just acquired a property. And typically, the first 3 months, you're going to have a lot of vendors that will be reaching out. And you want to have that confidence in asking if what you're receiving is legit and if any action is necessary. On our end, we'll keep you updated with two things. The first one is an AI software that we provide you access with to allow you to know what your equity position is. This AI software tracks the appreciation that the home has had in addition to the principal reduction, on top of giving you access to multiple tools, such as one that's my favorite, that allows you to calculate how much money you could save if you were to apply additional payments towards the principal. Now, the second update that we provide you once a month is a neighborhood nurture. We sit down, we look at your neighborhood, and that way, if you're curious, if one of your sellers or one of your neighbors had a for sale sign up, we'll provide that information to you. So you know how much they're asking, how long they've been on the market, what do the pictures look like, and we're keeping you up to speed with what's occurring. In addition, our lender partner will keep you updated with where interest rates are at, where the market is moving, so that once again, you can replace any uncertainty with clarity and confidence through the education and the proven systems that we allow you access to. This with the intention of you always making the best decision for you and your family. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Our email is rubenmb@kw.com, or you can give us a call at 720-453-8370 to fully understand everything that goes into the home buying process here in the state of Colorado or anywhere in the US. Again, we personally serve our clients here in Colorado, but if you're thinking of buying or selling anywhere in the US, we can gladly provide you access to one of the top agents in our company that could keep your best interest at mind.